Well, hello and welcome to Love Not Fear. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear. This is part two of the show we started last week about beliefs. Annie's not with me today. She wants to do a different subject next week. She wants to talk about unicorns and dragons in mythology, which sounds absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? So come along and join us next week for that one. I'm just going to finish off the beliefs one on my own. If you remember last time in part one, we talked about how, together with other aspects of our internal map of reality, our beliefs create or attract all the experiences of our lives. The mind is a very powerful goal-seeking mechanism, and it will either find a way to make what we believe come true, or it will make it seem to be true to us. We humans have a powerful need for consistency between the things we believe and the things we experience. The drive to create consistency is so strong that people will do almost anything to be right about their beliefs, even when doing so creates failure, suffering, or unhappiness for themselves. Of course, no one's doing it consciously. No one actually decides to do this. It isn't voluntary. It's just the way we are. And I had an operation a few years ago, about 15 years ago now, under local anesthetic. I was fully conscious and talking to the doctors and nurses throughout the procedure. Although the area was completely numb, the doctors went to some trouble to stop me looking at what was happening. Their explanation was that it's a fact with human beings, and they'd seen this before, that we create consistency between what we expect and believe and what we actually experience. Patients in the past who observed a big gaping wound in their body created the pain to go with it, while those that did not look felt nothing, and I felt nothing, absolutely nothing. Even when pain was physiologically impossible due to the anesthetic, those who believed they should feel pain felt pain. How many of us do that in various different aspects of our lives, different areas of our lives? In part one, I mentioned Gill Edwards and her wonderful little book, Living Magically, and I did put the link below in the description then, and I will do so again today. The task of the subconscious is to confirm that we are right. It doesn't care whether we program it to create laughter and joy or misery and failure. That's not its job. It simply ensures that our beliefs and expectations are fulfilled, that they are consistent with what we experience, and that the outer world mirrors our inner world. If we have contradictory beliefs, then that will be reflected in the reality it creates and what we actually experience. We make the mistake of assuming that beliefs follow experience, when in reality it's the other way around. Our beliefs about ourselves and about the world attract the experiences to confirm those beliefs. There are three main ways in which we can make what we believe either come true or seem to be true for us. One, we attract or are attracted to people or situations that make our beliefs come true. We interpret whatever happens in such a way that our belief seems to be true, even if it isn't. We act in such a way as to make it actually come true. Yeah, we're little perishers, aren't we? Yet we all behave this way until we become aware of what we're doing. Once we become aware, we can choose to stop it. If we have an unresourceful belief about romantic partners, let's just say as an example, we may attract people with the same basic characteristics over and over and over again. Even if we stumble upon someone who's different, someone who really, really loves us and only wants the very, very best for us, somebody who'll bend over backwards just to see us smile, we may treat them in such a way as to make them act like the others did towards us. Either that or we'll interpret their behavior, something that they do, some innocent thing that they do, in such a way as to distort the truth and reinforce our belief, or a combination of both. Doing this creates consistency between what we believe and expect and the actual events of our lives. I did this for decades until I eventually came to my senses. I would always attract women who could not really love me, or if they did, I would misinterpret their behavior and leave them just to prove to myself that I was unlovable. I did this with my last wife, Julia. If only I knew then what I know now, I would not have lost a very special person from my life, and I would not have caused her pain. At the same time, she was working hard to reinforce her beliefs that men always leave her in the end. People find ways to distort what they perceive so as to make a belief seem to be true, even when it isn't. If you believe that no one will ever love you, you'll interpret the behavior of others as evidence that they don't love you, even if that's not what it means. Maybe they've got stuff going on in their lives. Maybe their behavior has got nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally. My wife was busy proving her stuff about being abandoned, and I interpreted it as evidence that she didn't love me. What a pair we were. The same thing goes for prosperity. If we believe we'll never be prosperous, we'll find ways to interpret our situation as lacking prosperity, even when that isn't the case. How can anyone in Europe, North America, or Australia really hold such a belief? Even the poorest of us have food to eat and decent clothes to wear. Okay, there are a few homeless people, and I have great sympathy for them. But apart from them, can anyone in the West really say that they're poor? You've got a roof over your head and food in your tummy, you're not poor. The first step to having more is to stop complaining and start fostering real gratitude for the enormous riches that you already have. And when you show gratitude for the roof over your head, then maybe you'll attract a better roof over your head. But complaining about it and being ungrateful would just drive it all away. If we believe we'll be well off, we may well attract people in situations that would keep us from making money or cause us to lose what money we have. Whatever we believe or expect, we will magnetically attract people and situations that will help us be right. The converse is also true. If we really believe that we're going to get richer every day, that we are getting richer every day, then we will attract people and situations to help make that belief come true too. Of all the possible interpretations in any situations, we always pick those that conform with what we already believe. We filter out our interpretations, all other interpretations that would contradict our belief. This leads us to act in such a way that people finally comply with what we believe. If we believe we'll eventually be abandoned, that fear will cause us to act in such a way as to eventually drive the other person away. That's what my wife did. Similarly, if you believe you'll be poor, you'll act in such a way as to stay poor or to end up poor. With all these three methods, we get to be right about what we believe sooner or later. Now, I talk a lot about Bill Harris. Bill Harris from The Secret, if you remember The Secret, the guy that was coaching the gay man who was being bullied all the time. If you'd rather, so I'm quoting from Bill Harris now, if you'd rather be right than happy, that's a great strategy. But if you'd like to be happy, peaceful, and prosperous, it's a losing proposition. Remember that what you believe, feel, and think about is your choice. If what happened to you in the past has set up a really strong pattern, you may have to get rid of the emotional charge associated with it through meditation, therapy, EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, NLP, or various other techniques. As soon as you can make the past trauma emotionally neutral, you'll be free to focus on what you want and to create it. To believe something, we have to make internal representations of it. Internal pictures, sounds, smells. In other words, we have to think about it. So to believe something different, just think about that more often instead. As we said, beliefs are just thoughts that we think over and over again. Everything is true in the mind of the person who believes it. When people argue over a belief, it's only because their internal maps are different. Neither map is more valid than the other. They're just different based on our different experiences. Imagine a group of friends watching a television program together. All of them will perceive it differently, not because they watch different programs, but because their differing internal maps influence their perceptions of the program. We create, attract, or imagine whatever evidence we need to be right. So evaluating beliefs on whether they're true or false is not really very helpful, is it? Evaluating our beliefs in this way is just indulging in circular flawed logic. Now, as we said in part one, we're not talking about rocks being hard and ice being cold. We're talking about the more esoteric beliefs. If asked why they believe something, most people would claim to have plenty of evidence. Yet the person next door might believe the opposite, and he too has plenty of evidence. So who's right? Well, they both are, because each of them have used the three methods discussed above to make whatever they believe either be true or seem to be true for them. Some people seem to be able to convince themselves that they're following the only true religion. Some people are absolutely convinced about it. In order to be right about what they believe, people are quite capable of imagining all the evidence that they need. And being completely blind to any contradictory evidence. We always find ways to make whatever we believe either come true or seem to be true for us. So how can a belief ever be false? If we believe it, we'll find a way to make it seem true. Only other people's beliefs can ever be false. Our beliefs will always turn out to be true. For this reason, conscious, happy, aware people evaluate beliefs based on whether or not they are resourceful, based on whether they lead to good results and good experiences. As Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, either way, you're right. Since whatever you deeply believe will end up being true for you, why not believe what will give you the best results? Believe that you can make lots of money if that's what you want, and you will. Believe that you're happy, and you will be. Believe that you can have great relationships, and you will have them. Believe that you are lovable, and you will be. And you will attract somebody who will really, really love you. There are a few other things you're going to have to do, but changing our beliefs starts the ball rolling. Quoting from Gill Edwards again. Scarcity belief, otherwise known as poverty consciousness, is a widespread belief system in our culture. For centuries, material wealth and abundance has been seen as incompatible with spiritual growth. We have believed, or we've been conned into believing, that God wants us to struggle along, barely able to pay our way, and certainly doesn't want us to have any fun with our money. After all, money is the root of all evil, isn't it? So dictated the puritanical thought of the old age. However, new consciousness suggests otherwise. It says that God, Goddess, Source, the universe, Force, Light, whatever term you wish to use, just might prefer us to enjoy our lives to the full, to open ourselves up to the joy of the abundance of the universe. Letting go of our poverty consciousness is one of the many delights of the new age. She goes on to say, money is just a set of vibrations, an illusion that we create. And we can have as much as we like of an illusion. This doesn't mean that seeing wealth as our main goal in life or as a guarantee of security and happiness, nor does it mean being wasteful or extravagant. It means learning how to create money easily and effortlessly, trusting that we will always have enough. And it also means enjoying it and using it, perhaps to create a pleasant environment in which to live, or to purchase experiences, whether travel, books, workshops, creative hobbies, social life, leisure, or cultural pursuits that will help us to grow. If we hoard money, it soon learns that it's not needed, and we no longer attract it. We become a stagnant pond. By learning to be an open channel, spending money, giving it away, passing on old clothes, furniture, and bric-a-brac that we no longer use, we encourage more to flow into our lives. As we learn to take it more lightly, seeing it as a mere illusion, money begins to flow through us like a stream. What wonderful words! Money is energy, and energy needs to flow. I'm sure you've heard that everywhere, including The Secret. And there's no scarcity. There is more than enough for everyone. That's a very resourceful belief, and believing it will make it much easier to get rich if that's what you want to do. So summing all that up, we could say, and we could say this as an affirmation, there is more than enough good and wholesome stuff for everyone. There is more than enough to use to enrich our lives and the lives of others. Mark Victor Hansen. Those of you who remember Mark Victor Hansen, he was the co-author of the Chicken Soup of the Soul books with Jack Canfield. Mark Victor Hansen claims to be an enlightened millionaire and says his goal is to help to create 1 million new enlightened millionaires. I really like his idea of an enlightened millionaire. If you're being held back by the belief that millionaires are people who have exploited their staff, ripped off their customers, polluted the environment, and used dirty tricks to beat their competitors, then that belief will prevent you from ever becoming a millionaire, or from having anything for that. After all, why would you ever want to join such a after all, why would you ever want to join such discredited ranks? But you can sidestep the problem by aiming to become not a bad, selfish millionaire, but rather an enlightened millionaire, motivated by love and generosity instead of fear and meanness, as I keep saying. So what is an enlightened millionaire? Well, here's my definition. You can write your own, but this is mine. First, let me say that an enlightened millionaire does not necessarily have to have £1 million or €1 million or $1 million or even £1 million yen. It doesn't even have to be about money. You can have that, of course, if you want it. I had it and became rather disillusioned with it, but there you go. But you can set your own goals, your own measure of success, whatever success means to you. To be an enlightened millionaire, you would need the following qualities. You always tell the truth, no matter the consequences. You're always helping and treating others well. You're always helping the environment and living in harmony with nature in a non-polluting, non-exploitative way. And as everyone pollutes and exploits the environment to some extent, you don't produce more children than you need in order to replace yourself and your spouse. You give generously to charity and good causes. You pay all your employees a fair proportion of whatever wealth they help to create. And as a sign in the breakfast restaurant of a hotel I stayed in recently said, eat as much as you like, but please don't waste the food. So write your own definition. It might not be the same as mine. The point is to specify a set of ethics, which, when you adopt them, enable you to achieve great success while living up to your own highest ideals every day. So please do like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back on Monday with this show that Annie wants to do about dragons and unicorns in mythology. So that should be really, really good. Namaste.